Are we entering an age where there's no longer an ability to be a fan of an artist? Because either the artist doesn't exist and it's just a generated sea of oversaturation, or the artist is replacing themselves with a generator where it's like to the point where they didn't even make that. It's just like, I could have made it. You know what I mean? So it's not even like inspired. It's not like inspired work anymore. It's just like more. If there's anything I think we should ban when it comes to I think it's directly using another artist's name or gathering their art and putting it through an AI generator to create more of their work in the same style, like more work in the same style of theirs. This is happening right now.
I just found out that my art is being used to train an AI art program without my knowledge or consent.
The Midjourney developers just got caught with a list of artists that they're directly stealing styles from to add as features in their prompts.
And he said, I used these images. I used your art to generate this AI art. So this is AI generated art. I've prompted off of some of my own work.
I don't understand how this is a thing that's been accepted so easily. Like, obviously not everyone is okay with this, but I've seen it like everywhere. It's just like a normal part of AI generated art. It's like, yeah, just throw in a famous artist's name. Like, let's make a building in the style of this architect. Let's, create some art in the style of this company or this, artist. How is this a thing? It's crazy, right? Like, just for one example, I did a graphic design course just for a little bit. In that course, we made some poster ads for Bunnings Warehouse, and literally in the ad, we couldn't even use inspiration from other ads. Like, we had to get each reference approved if we were going to use like reference material to even just inspire our work. Like, not using specific assets, I'm talking like just the inspiration. And like another example, in Adam Duff's AI video, Tyler talks about how when he worked for Epic Games, he couldn't, if he was making something like an asset for the game and it was based off something in real life, it was based on something, or he used inspiration for it, he had to provide evidence of everything he got reference from and make sure it's different enough so that they can't get like copyrighted or sued or whatever.
They don't want it involved at all. They do not want to be kind of brought down by any more legal lawsuits than they already do. Like, they kind of got their hands full with enough of those. Yeah. So they don't want it. And if you do use it, they want you to be forward enough to like let the legal department know. And we have to let the legal department know on a day-to-day basis with a number of things anyway. Any kind of object or prop that we design that has any kind of real world correlation, whether it's like a gas canister or a light fixture. They want to see our references on that to make sure it's different enough from a real world counterpart so that nobody's getting sued.
So how are we just obviously not every company is accepting AI generated art, but like the fact that it's embedded in the culture already of like just directly stealing another artist's creative style, like blatantly using their name. How is that allowed? Like, this isn't just a legal issue of like copyright, it's also just disgusting. I want to open up discussion in the comments of like what you guys think about people just using artists' names in prompts, and if it's ethical. Like, I want this to be like an interactive channel, so you guys leave comments, I'll respond. I might even like spark up videos based on what people have said, or so like I want this to be an ongoing discussion and create a community of artists supporting artists. I spoke about this topic in like a different recording, which I made for a short, so I want to play that now, and I want to expand on it for this video, because I have a few more points that I think should be made, but I'll play the short now if you haven't seen it. Like, say for example, I want to create something in the style of Pop O Doodle, which is a like artist on Instagram I really like and I follow. He makes these like cool creature designs. Let's say I wanted to make a game. I was a software developer, I was a company making a game, and it has these cool like creature enemies, and they're like nautical themed, right? So it's an underwater game. All this Pop O Doodle art into an AI generator, and I say, make me nautical inspired creature designs in the style of Pop O Doodle, or in the style of this artwork, generate me 100, right? It's gonna do that. It's the rise of anyone can be an artist. You don't have to commission people anymore. You know, people who don't have much money, they're able to create something like amazing. Right, but then artists aren't being supported at all, so it's gonna kill off any artist. There's not gonna be new artists to commission, to like generate from, because they're not being supported in their creation of their original art. So everything's getting recycled and nothing new is made. AI art is not really a tool for the artist, it's more a tool for the corporate heads to eliminate the artists.
The concern I have always comes down to whose hands are on this. Is it just some person who's doing some AI generated image and he's just goofing off with it and here you go, what do you think?
Yeah.
Or is it some corporation that's sitting there going, we want to use this information to be able to produce something that we can make money off of? That's where it crosses a line.
We want your art, but we don't want you.
Yeah.
So there is a counter argument I can see being made. One of like, well, humans have always kind of taken direct inspiration from other artists. Like, I'm not talking about just like taking mild inspiration. There is cases of artists literally just kind of being a copy, not necessarily a copy, but like an evolved or a different version of the same thing. Like, they're so clearly just inspired by the work of a previous artist that they kind of just make it themselves and do it with their own thing. You could almost make an argument like humans have done that throughout history, so what's the difference of like AI doing it? And there's a big difference. There's a few differences I want to highlight. The difference between being really inspired by someone's work versus AI generating from it. Well, for one, you need the thousands of hours of effort and dedication and practice to even get to a skill level where you even can replicate the artist. So like, if you're going through that level of effort and practice and dedication, you're not going to be taking an artist's work to rip it off. You'd be taking it as like out of respect of their artist, if that makes sense. Like, I've kind of written it here in a better way. And like, if you're going through all that work and effort and dedication, I imagine you'll be taking inspiration out of someone's work in not a way to spin a profit off their intellectual creation, but out of respect and inspiration of their work. An example is Nujabes and Kenichiro Nishihara. So Nujabes, if you don't know, is a pioneer of like jazz rap. He's made kind of he kind of pioneered a style of jazz fusion and rap.
Light as a feather when I'm floating through, reading through the daily news, measuring the hurt within the golden rule. Brush a coal to a diamond, eyes forever shining. Your beauty alone inspire a nigga to rhyme it.
So he kind of pioneered that style. So, and then you've got like people who took that further and evolved jazz rap into like into the culture we see today, basically.
Old friends, we don't answer. I don't really plan to repeat those stanzas. Reconciliation came way too late. You get dropped for the weight like Lizzo's dances.
There is one artist that is so clearly directly inspired by Nujabes, which I said is Kenichiro Nishihara.
Need a little more heart, little more soul. Either too hot or a little too cold. Way too many shallow firsts.
Using my leverage for life, pushing through the strife as we crawl through the light. If we make it.
But here's the difference between him and an AI generator, and I want to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. There's sort of a level of respect in the expansion. Yeah, so like I said, it's kind of hard to put it into words, but I wonder if someone in the comments will kind of understand where I'm coming from. It's like the people who imitate Nujabes are people who have built up their skills, so they are making stuff that's good and it's clearly inspired, but it's its own thing. It's like the ultimate form of flattery imitation. But then with AI, there's no talent behind it, so you actually literally are just ripping off what they've made, giving it to an AI, and so it can learn from it and making more of it in that style. There's no talent behind that. Here's a good analogy. It's like watering it down and mass producing it pretty much just for consumption purposes, / making a profit, versus being almost like a student of their work and making it your own. Also, by nature, it's not going to happen on a mass scale with regular art. Because like, if someone spends all their time developing their skills up to a point where they can replicate an artist, they're probably a creative individual. So they're probably gonna want to create their own style or take their work inspiration and make it something of their own. Like, people don't just learn art and then just start pumping out versions of famous artists' work to make money. It's just not how it happens realistically. It's a much more organic kind of ecosystem in that way, that it's like nothing is really disturbing other people's work even if you're inspired by it directly. However, with AI, it is disturbing their work because it can happen on such a mass scale. Everyone has the ability to basically make any artist's work, so they are. Without any like talent or respect behind it, it's just let's turn their creation into a profit without actually commissioning them or, you know, like having them work on this project, if that makes sense. So it's like, there's an artist, they're here, they've made something unique, let's say it's Nujabes, right? And then like, people just gather Nujabes' work, put it through an AI generator, and then millions of people just start making their own versions of Nujabes. Like, that is so much different than just a couple people being heavily inspired by someone's work, and like, you know what I mean? So it's completely disrespectful to the artist. Think about fashion trends and how you never know who truly pioneered that style. It just grew a bit and then a bit more until it became a fad, and then it was no longer cool, so it dies for the next thing. Imagine being an artist and your art style starts getting used and gets used more and more until it explodes across the industry, to the point where generators are just using that style even when they don't have your name or much detail. Because it's been put through the generator so many times, it's just showing up elsewhere even though your name's not attached. So people will just start describing it by other things, or just use the visual imagery of it to generate more, not even needing a description or name of the style. You know, with no personal gain to them, to the point that it's no longer their style. That's part of the reason that AI kind of pisses me off, because like, there's no naming to anything. There'll come a point where like, there's no artists where you can like look through their portfolio and see their history of work, see where they started, like gain inspiration, you know, learn about them as a person and how it influences their art. Like are we entering an age where there's no longer an ability to be a fan of an artist? Because either the artist doesn't exist and it's just a generated sea of oversaturation, or the artist is replacing themselves with a generator where it's like to the point where they didn't even make that. It's just like, I could have made it. You know what I mean? So it's not even like inspired. It's not like inspired work anymore. It's just like more.